people love you.
They do love me, though. And we're live.
Hey!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the World of Grey podcast. In a society divided by black and white arguments, we are here to explore the world of Grey. I am Kelowna's Cougar Meat Kid Colin Cutler.
I am the Flow Mike Chisholm. It is a pleasure to be here on this wonderful, wonderful, beautiful Sunday in the beautiful Okanagan. And man, are we ever blessed to live where we live, man? Holy
Heck
smokes.
yes.
Holy
So-
smokes, are we blessed to live where we live?
We're back with the World of Grey. We are on the Facebook and the YouTube. Facebook is where we want you to join the conversation today.
Right now.
Join
Live.
the conversation. So I want everyone who's watching to think, how have your opinions changed over the years? What
Yeah.
beliefs did you used to hold, say, 5-10 years ago that you no longer hold? For me, one big thing is I'm no longer easily sucked into conspiracies like I used to be.
No?
I still believe there are conspiracies, don't get me wrong. And I think there's a world of gray when it comes to conspiracies, but I used to
Right.
be really susceptible to
Right.
the us first them mentality. Sergio Tisnato has joined us. Sergio has a new son now who was born on the 17th, shot out in about 30 minutes. When they called me to tell me that baby Oscar was in the world.
Oscar. They named him Oscar.
Correct.
Oh.
And me and Jen instantly went and bought some Oscar the Grouch
Oh, well,
merchandise.
yeah.
I mean, they're thinking more Oscar De La Hoya,
Right.
but how cute is Oscar the Grouch?
Some people
Especially
would
if-
think Oscar de la Renta, who's a fashion
no,
icon.
Not very many.
Some.
Oh, okay.
My wife might.
Your wife might.
Yeah.
But when they called me to tell me that Oscar was here, it took them 5 minutes to convince me they weren't ribbing me.
Really? You
because
thought
I
that was a
hadn't heard
fake?
anything all day.
Really?
But it was such a quick labor. It was like 2 hours when she went in and had till when the baby was. So like they're like, no, seriously, dude. And I'm like, okay.
That's amazing.
So we're discussing changes. Mike, what's one belief you used to hold that you have changed your opinion on?
I'm gonna just go into, people talk about aging, and I'll talk about how I feel about aging. I love aging, and one of the reasons why I love aging so much is I'm a very strong thinker. I've got large opinions that are very
Big.
they're the large opinions that are big, that are very like I'll plant my flag on certain things. And what I love is when I plant my flag on a certain concept or idea, and 5 years later, I think back to me thinking about me planting that flag so deeply on that idea and realizing that I'm just a big idiot and that things have completely changed. I love, like I'm 43 right now. I love looking back at 35-year-old Mike who thought he had it figured out.
Yeah.
And realizing what a big idiot I was.
Yeah.
Like
I love that.
oh, it's such a good feeling. I love
amazing.
aging because in the knowledge and the experience that comes, man, I'm going to use a real hard word for me because it's one that I hold almost reverence for this word. And that's the W word. That's wisdom. And I want wisdom to show up in my life. And every time there are little snippets or little windows of wisdom, oh, man, I'm a fan of that.
I had to stop my watch party so I could go through these posts.
Don't stop the watch party.
I can't.
This watch
I don't
party
have
will
an option.
continue forever on Mike Chisholm's Facebook. If you go onto my Facebook, you will see the watch party that is going on continually.
So one hashtag that I use a lot is hashtag end post-truth era.
End post-truth era?
Yeah. I use it a
Oh
lot.
man, you and I do you know what? This is I think this is like a bit of a
You and I lead very different lives, my friend.
I think that this is one of those rare places where we see the generation gap a little bit. Hashtags to me are an effort. I'll put hashtags out there just for the sake of putting hashtags out there. It's not even a something where I would ever follow them. Like this is so totally new to me. I'm trying to even remember hashtags that I put out there. Like normally I'll put a hashtag. You know how I use hashtags? You know how Jimmy Fallon on his show, on his Tonight Show, they'll like use hashtags as jokes and they'll use them as things to just put the cherry on top of a post or something like that. That's how I use hashtags. I never go revisit them. So this is very interesting to me.
See, I don't like that I got rid of the watch party.
I don't like how you got rid of the watch party either.
I think I need to go back.
Okay. So
here's a post for end to that. So just so you kind of have some idea of what my end post-truth era means. This post is when the Green New Deal was coming around, and a lot of conservatives in the United States started saying that if the Green New Deal happens, that you won't have hamburgers anymore.
Oh,
Do you remember
yeah,
this?
yeah. I do. Because they were going to say that cows would. Yeah, that's right. So what was the hashtag you used?
End post-truth era. Oh, you can look it up? Cool. And I'll go back to the watch party. So
RUTHERA.
this post was as much as I want to give the benefit of the doubt to any information I take in, as soon as you try to make me believe that a Green New Deal means sponsors of this bill want to take away people's hamburgers, I instantly laugh and discredit you. It sounds like a parody.
Okay.
And hashtag and post-truth era. That opinion has not changed. So I guess my point here was the leaps in logic, which I've talked about before, is there probably is, let's like world degrade a little bit. I'm sure there's tons of stuff that might not work with the Green New Deal or that need to be tweaked with the Green New Deal. I haven't even read the whole thing. But as soon as your talking points and fear mongering turns into they're going to take your hamburgers, somebody posted a gif of the South Park. They took our jobs. That's like exactly what it reminds me of.
I found another one here.
My opinion has not changed on that.
President Donald Trump, February 8th, and I don't know if it was this year or not. World War III began on 9/11/01 is the reason for the immigrant problem globally, but the PC police demand we import enemies under the Trojan horse excuse of refugee, and that is just dumb. So Trump posted that, and then Colin Cutler says, except it's not. Conflation, yes. Truth, question mark. No. Hashtag try again. Hashtag end post-truth era. Hashtag fear-mongering right there. That's what Colin Cutler said.
What was the post of socialism is bad? Oh, if socialism is good and capitalism is so bad, then why isn't the caravan heading to Venezuela? Oh yeah, that's so dumb. Actually, my opinion on Venezuela has changed a little bit. I still don't think that the United States needs to be going
This
in
is hilarious.
and intervening. The biggest problem I have with Venezuela is even if you don't agree that even if you agree that Maduro is a terrible dictator, leader, or whatever, their elections have actually been shown to be one of the fairest democratic elections in the world. And originally when the United Nations went to go analyze, whatever, go and do a report, the opposition party didn't want them to go in because they had fear-mongered against Maduro so hard that they didn't want anyone coming in and being like, no, these elections are perfectly fair.
Okay.
And then they tried to have no opposition run against Maduro to make it seem illegitimate. And at the last second, somebody from the opposition who wasn't the opposition leader or maybe an independent ended up running against Maduro last minute.
Okay.
And they ended up having a fair election and Maduro won by a landslide because they pulled out. And a lot of critics are saying that if the opposition would have just ran against him, there's a chance they could have pulled enough votes. Because it's very much like the United States, right? It's not like everything's a lie. Like I got sucked into the pro-Maduro, not pro-Maduro, but like everything's a lie section of that's Cal. Oh, I should have answered that. That was Cal Sebastian. We're gonna call him back and we're gonna
Cal Sebastian called into the show.
Yeah,
we got a call in.
Yeah, we're gonna. Oh, here he is.
Yeah, darn right. You pick up that phone. It's Cal Sebastian.
And we wonder why nobody watches because we're like ADD here. Kyle Sebastian, what's going on?
What's up?
Oh, just hanging out. What are you doing?
Just hanging out too.
Yeah. Do you have anything incriminating to say about anyone that might be on my Facebook list?
Or yourself?
Or myself?
Yeah.
Oh, you're doing this.
Remember everyone on the last podcast when I said Kyle's good at everything? He even knows when I'm ribbing.
Oh, you're doing this.
I see. Well, I'm gonna let you go.
Oh no,
Kyle, we lost 2 viewers when you called. What happened?
I understand.
What-
They went over to view his
I
Facebook. That's
don't wanna
why.
hear him either.
As soon as we're done here, I have to go print some stuff off at work and then I'm heading up.
Okay, but I need you to do something for me after, so give me a call.
I bet he does.
Is it sexy? Can you say it on air?
I can't. That's why I need you to call me after.
Okay.
Oh, I like this.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Kyle Sebastian. What's his moniker these days? Kyle Sebastian's moniker. His
Cougar
wrestling.
Cougar Meat.
He's still just Cougar Meat Kyle Sebastian.
This is Cougar Meat Kyle, though.
Yeah, Cougar Meat Kyle. He's not enthused.
I can't do it as well as him.
Cougars love him though.
So yes, I've had some opinions change on Venezuela for sure. But that post is for real fear mongering because you're not factoring in things like sanctions and bad media when it comes to Venezuela. Like Venezuela is a very complex issue.
Sure, it is a very complex issue. And
yeah.
hey, look at that! I actually have a hashtag that I've used, and I've searched it, and I have other posts that I have used. 2018.
Lay them on me, big guy.
Okay, so when I use hashtags many times, it's because it is a question or an exclamation point on a joke or something like that, or on a post. And so one hashtag I've used is hashtag non-ironic blessed. Because you know how people are like always like hashtag blessed, hashtag blessed, hashtag blessed. So I'll throw something out that is like a legitimate thing that where I'm like, hey, no, blessed, like, but I'll say non-ironic blessed, like I'm not being ironic when I say that. So like the first one appears to be on Facebook. I don't even know what, oh my God. Okay, so this one here is like a thank you post from an Invasion Championship Wrestling event in 2018, I guess. No, this is when Tim went in the Hall of Fame. All right, and I'm talking about a non-ironic blessed.
Okay,
It's Tim Flowers
well,
went in the Hall
Mike
of Fame.
struggles to figure out what
I'm
that post is
sorry.
about. If
I'm
anyone
sorry, everybody.
wants to talk about things that they have changed their opinion on, I'd really like to hear how people's opinions and perceptions evolve, right? I work really hard on letting the cognitive dissonance just wash through me and bring in new information. Hi, Dina.
All right, I got one.
I haven't
Yo,
seen
Dina.
Dina in forever. Where are you at? Oh, probably 'cause I don't go to the Real Deal ever.
I know.
Is my nephew behaving
Yo,
himself?
D. Okay, I got
Slap
one
him
here.
around if
Okay,
he's
so this is
not.
from July 9th, 2017. So this is over 2 years ago.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, so let's just see if my opinion has changed. Today will be a day of friendship, social interaction, music, a fantastic pool, catching up, and Spider-Man. Hashtag non-ironic blessed.
You already watched Spider-Man. Not happening today.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying that. Well, okay. But you know what? That sounds like a pretty good day. 2 years later,
Michael has joined us. Roy has joined us. Josh has joined us. Lena has joined us. Kelly McClarty has joined us as well.
Peace and love to everybody who's
We love
joined
Kelly.
us.
Kevin Jeffries has joined, left, joined again, probably left again.
I think it's because they all heard Kyle Sebastian was on the phone.
Yeah, and then Kyle hung up.
Yeah, but that's okay because now we've got the viewers. Now we got the eyeballs here, and they're hoping that he will call back.
Oh, I'll tell you something that's changed over the years.
Sure.
My opinion of Kyle Sebastian.
Oh, what?
I was super scared of Kyle when I first met him.
scared.
Terrified.
Like you thought he was going to beat you up.
Not so much that.
Okay. How are you scared of him?
I was intimidated by Kyle. Kyle's really good at what he does, like as a wrestler. Like
he's also a big man.
He's big. I mean, I don't know if I was physically intimidated, but Kyle also.
As a man, I am.
Kyle also.
I don't even know if he and I are the same species.
Keeps people at arm's length at the beginning.
It's like he's
right?
going to steal my women.
And then, like, once we became friends, man, he's like, I shouldn't give away his rep, but he's like the nicest,
Yeah,
warm-hearted
I know.
human being.
But when I
love
find that out,
guy
I
so
keep
much.
fearing again for my women because he's just like he's all these things that you were talking about that intimidate men.
Yeah.
And then you turns out he's got the heart of gold and he's like got
Yeah.
this boyish, amazing charm. And it's like, okay, well, you know what? I
Yeah.
should just cash in all my chips and go because Kyle Sebastian's just gonna.
When he
clean up
also
here.
just tells it like it is. Like he's not
He
gonna
does.
sugarcoat things, which
Yeah.
is another thing that I love from any mentor. Because I don't do that as much as I'd like to.
No.
No, I think though in my position, like my job, I kind of need to find different pathways to lead
Yeah.
because I don't want to just, I don't wanna be
There's a difference
too
between sugarcoating things and
Yeah.
and encouraging people, like
Yeah.
legitimate encouragement,
yeah, totally. But
rather than
but Kyle
sugarcoating.
doesn't give a fuck.
No, he doesn't.
Which is what I love about Kyle.
But Kyle also wouldn't go and take our women, which is so great because he could.
he could
could.
totally.
Like I can't believe I'm the same species as him.
Yeah, he's got a good one though. That's the thing.
He's got a good woman.
He's got a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the best.
Yeah, he could use his powers for evil, but he chooses not to, which is why I'm not intimidated by Kyle Sebastian. I have a healthy respect for Kyle Sebastian.
You know, it's another interesting that changes is your opinion of people that you knew in high school when everybody gets out.
Oh,
Like
very
a
much
lot.
so.
Like pretty much
yeah.
anyone that I feuded with in high school, which sounds so stupid. Once you get out and everyone has to work for a living, and just
Well,
the world is like
yeah.
beating fucking down, you're like,
Okay.
oh, that shit doesn't matter.
I was thinking about
That
this the other day. I was
relevant.
remembering back to so I graduated from Rutland in '94, and my grad class is going to do I don't even know, 94. What is it? Is that 25 years? I guess so. I think it's 25 years. So they're doing a 25-year, like, because we're not doing an official.
Yeah, that's the math.
Okay, so we're not doing an official reunion in the sense of like every 10 years there's kind of a big one. We're doing one because it's 25, so we're doing like a halfway point one, and it's just we're all going to Freddy's Brew Pub sometime in August. I forget when
Love
it is.
it.
Yeah, it's gonna
Can
be
I
good.
come?
If you want.
Okay. We
Love
can
to have you there.
podcast.
You can see some. Yeah, man. Oh, that's not a bad idea, actually.
Let's turn it all into a
my God.
podcast.
Oh my God. I don't know what my classmates would think. See, this is one of those things. Like in high school, I had a fairly benign social
Cyst?
that, but
Oh,
that was
social.
definitely
I see what
benign.
you're doing.
No, but I didn't really piss too many people off. Every once in a while, I pissed somebody off.
You're not living.
I also wasn't like the most popular guy on the planet. I was a band kid, but I was also a bit of a rugby kid and some of the other stuff out there. Like I was sort of a smart kid. I had many groups of friends, things like that. But you remember like the polarizing people, the people who were like really popular, or they were
Clicks.
athletic, or they were bangers, or they were skaters, or they were, preps or nerds or whatever. And it was really fun going to my 10-year reunion. And
Dina wants to join us.
she should join us.
She's saying my nephew's behaving himself, which is
Oh, thank goodness, because we were all worried about that. Anyway, going to the 10-year reunion, it was really neat to see. It was interesting. It was really interesting to see people who had gone through and continued their high school persona, reputation, whatever, and like if they were like a superstar in high school,
Their
they became
gimmick.
a superstar in life or gimmick. And then the people who, I'm not going to name names, of course, clearly their best days were behind them in many different categories. I'm not saying that they're not happy people with good lives now
I know
and all
what you're
that,
saying.
but clearly high school would have been a highlight from a social status, from the standpoint of going, it just, anyway,
I get.
I don't want to say that they're not, and I don't want to put myself above anybody else or anything like that too. But a lot of people are coming up to me going, "Holy, Mike really made something of himself," which to me back then, when they said that, and I was like at 10-year reunion, I was just Mr. Costco marketing guy. Like
Yeah.
I've
But
as
you're
far as I'm
very
concerned,
successful.
I've developed myself professionally, way more than that since then. But even then, I had guys coming up to me or girls coming up to me going, "Holy cow, you really made something of yourself."
That was for Dina.
Yeah, Deanna.
Deanna. Sorry. Dina.
But there you go, D, right there, pumping the heart. But it was interesting because they'd be like, "Holy cow, look at Chisholm. He did this and he did that and he did this," and it made me think to myself, "Oh, you really didn't think very much of me in high school, did you?" I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, yeah, of course I did those things, and of
Yeah.
course I'm doing even bigger things now and whatnot." And so I'm really excited to go to the 25 year.
Yeah.
Because that was 15 years ago. I skipped the 20 year because I was, I don't know, going through a divorce or something. But I don't know why I skipped the 20 year, but I did. Maybe I was out of town. I might have been traveling. But I'm going to this thing because I love to see the people that I had formative years with,
Yeah.
who I thought certain things, which is exactly bringing it right around to what we're talking about in the podcast.
Yeah.
You had this image of somebody back then, maybe the popular person, maybe the girl who was the hot girl that everybody loves so much. And now she lives in a trailer with 8 kids with 8 different dads. I mean, maybe not. I don't know.
In the same trailer.
It is a friggin' sitcom.
Busy household.
Yeah.
It's a reality
8 husbands,
show.
8 kids. 8
Oh my
trailers.
God. What are we doing with this podcast?
I know we got to go write this. We got a sitcom to write,
go.
everybody.
Sitcom. This is a reality show. There's got to
I
be
know.
somewhere out there where there's 8 dads and 8 kids in one trailer.
I
8
know.
dads, 8 kids, one trailer.
There's a hashtag that we should start right there. I mean, I'm just saying.
The reverse Mormon trailer.
The reverse Mormon trailer?
Yeah, 1 girl, 8 guys, 8 kids.
Yeah, that could be.
Is that how that works? I don't even know what Mormons are.
I didn't do well in math. But the math kids in high school, some of them, like I got one guy who's a math kid in high school.
Yeah.
And he became a math teacher. And he's flat out, like, he's continued that trend. Like, he was that guy in high school, won the math award, won all these things. And he is like the most beloved math teacher in his school. Like, he has just continued on the trajectory
I love it.
of high school. And you're like, oh, that guy, he just kept going.
It's
he
crazy.
didn't change very much at all.
It's crazy too because you can both pursue things you wanted to pursue and change
You're right,
at
D.
the same time.
Yep.
Also, it's interesting to see how little people actually did or have done what they said they wanted to do in high school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there was a thing on the radio. It was like one of the only times I was on the radio, and that's what they said. Like, hey, she had a friend. The radio host had a friend that wanted to be like a chef or something, and then end up being a chef. She's like, oh, that's so cool. Like they did what they set out to do, right? And so I was like, has anyone else done that? So I called in and said, well, yeah, like I wanted to be a pro wrestler since I was 14, and that's what I'm doing now.
Yep.
And she was like, "Oh, that's crazy." And then I shamelessly plugged the next show on air
Right.
because that's the only reason I called in. But it's crazy how many people do not pursue those things.
Do you remember what you put in any of your high school yearbook write-ups? Aspirations?
No, but I do remember that when you had that time where they had everyone pick like 3 different career paths, and then you would sit down with like a counselor and go
Right.
through them.
Right.
I put pro wrestling on there,
Right.
and
Good for
they
you.
literally mumbled and skipped past it. Like he was like, "Well, let's see what you got here. You got pro wrestling. Okay, we got scuba dive instructor. So let's see." That's like literally how that went. Like I'm not exaggerating. It wasn't like,
No.
"Oh, what's that?" or "How? Why are you interested in that?" or "Do you really think that's a good idea?"
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that could be a real big struggle. And no, this is the average. They're just like, "Oh, pro wrestling, scuba dive instructor." So we got.
You know, it's funny. My dreams were way down, deep seated, because I didn't come from a house that taught people to go pursue your dreams. I just happened to have this sort of manifesting thing when I was really young that just, oh, well, why can't I go doing that? But I had never developed it at all. It was in my 20s that I started developing it and recognizing it for what it was. So I didn't know, like, I would never have put, I'd like to make X amount per year and then have a fundraiser that is a pro wrestling and be a pro wrestling promoter and be in the business.
Yeah.
I never would have been able to flesh that out at that age.
Yeah.
But I did say in grade 10 at Rutland Junior, because Rutland Junior, when you're in grade 10, they kind of treated you like you were the grad, and they gave you the spot to put in things that you loved.
Yeah.
One of the things that I love, favorite song, Ghostbusters Rap by Run DMC, and I stand by that fucking right to this day. Oh my God. When Run DMC did the take on the Ghostbusters theme for Ghostbusters 2, I was so into that. And I'm still way like, hey, right on. I stand by that choice. I don't remember anything else I put there except for I'm going to be rich, famous. And there was a spelling error. They spelled famous, Famous.
Yeah.
So famous. Maybe it's French or something. I'm going to be rich, famous, and drive a neat car. That's what I said in grade 10.
I find it interesting that. So, like, what's your mindset when it comes? Because how old were you when you did that? Like 16, 17?
I would have been
18?
16. It was 92. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm
16.
curious because and I don't know if it's because my sister was a hippie and I, smoked too much weed when I was younger.
Okay.
But I never
I didn't smoke weed
had.
till I was 38.
I
started
never
it when I
had
was
the
38.
mindset
I'm catching up for
of,
lost
oh,
time
I want to get
sometimes.
rich and famous. I wanted to be a well-known wrestler. But even when I was a young kid wanting to be a wrestler, I had dreams of being like Intercontinental champion or like getting to
that's
ROH
amazing.
or like being an alternative, like, you know what I mean? Like being non-mainstream, which is kind of lame in itself.
No,
but
it's punk rock though. It's punk rock.
It was
I love
never,
no.
It was
I love
never
indie
like,
film.
I'm going
I
to
loved
be
indie,
rich, because a part of me was like, that's the problem in the world, right? Is this adherence to just wanting more and more and blah, blah.
But
So but I could be wrong, right? So what I want to know is, what do you think culturally brought you to the point at age 16 where you're like, I want to be rich, famous, and have a nice car?
neat car. That was the joke. Like
Neat
to
car.
me, that had a funny turn of phrase to it. I was already a Letterman fan at that point. So I want to be rich, famous, and drive a neat car. Like that's how I wrote it down. Drive a neat car. That's
awesome.
That was how I wrote it. That was my voice, and I can still kind of say there, and it kind of makes me go, rich, famous, and drive a neat car.
You do have a neat car. That
I have a
Land
couple of
Rover's
them.
dope.
I got the Rover that I drive every day, but I actually own my dream car. It's just in storage right now. I own
I've
a
never
very
seen
rare.
this.
Yeah, it's a.
We're gonna have to go do a live. No, don't pull out a picture. We're gonna
It's pretty
go.
bitchin'.
We're gonna go.
It's in a garage right now, though.
Yeah, we're gonna go to the garage and we're gonna just.
Oh man,
We're
I'll
gonna go
cry.
talk about
I'll
it.
cry when we go see that
Yeah,
car
we're
because
gonna
it's
go
been off the
visit
road
it.
for 2 years, and I
We're
got to
gonna put it on the
20
internet.
grand into it. But it's my dream car. I own my dream car.
Turn it into a podcast.
Oh my god, yeah.
I'm
Like,
gonna be the Vince McMahon of
well,
podcasts.
and as I can't justify right now putting $20,000 into this car. But soon I'll be able to. Like in the next year or so, I'm gonna be able to with some of the things we got cooking. And I fully plan on documenting the entire process of taking that
Alex
car.
Draper has joined us, still
See, now-
nursing a wrist injury.
Oh, the poor guy, our celebrity bell
Ice.
ringer. September 13th, Alex Draper. We need you September 13th
Ice heat
at the Rutland
Ice
Centennial
heat.
Hall and I'm not going to announce it, but Rutland Centennial Hall, September 13th is going to be a very awesome
We
night
got
of pro
Stone
wrestling.
Cold Steve Austin.
No, we do
All
not
right, we
have
don't have
Stone Cold Steve Austin. We've
But
got
that
a
would
great-
bring people in.
Oh, well, yeah. Even announcing that Stone Cold Steve Austin
It's
was
actually
coming.
Hulk Hogan. We got
And then-
Hulk Hogan coming in.
I said that to Rizzo once. I said,
don't.
you know what? This is what we're going to do for our last Invasion Championship Wrestling show. We're going to advertise like someone like The Rock or Stone Cold or whatever, and then make sure we put the card subject to change on there. and then everyone will come and like, I'm sorry, the card changed, that we don't have The Rock, but we do have Colin Cutler.
Good job talking about change.
Yeah,
That's the whole podcast.
It's all about
You know,
change.
there was a promoter who only lasted a couple shows. I'm
Yeah.
not going to mention his name because as much as this guy was skeezy, I'm not going to like.
It's not
shit
Mike
talk
Chisholm.
him.
Mike Chisholm
Not Mike
lasted
Chisholm,
way
no,
more
no,
than
no.
a couple shows.
This is
Sorry, haters.
This is years ago when I had first started, but he advertised one of the Bushwhackers.
No,
I believe
Luke. I bet you it was Luke.
I'm not sure if it was a Bushwhacker. I think it was. Anyways, he did that and then messed up with the flights or something. Like it was something he did, and that guy didn't show up. So he had like a fake one, like a fake Bushwhacker.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, it was awful.
Oh,
And
what
like
would we
there was
do for that?
no Fed guy. Like there was no replacement. Because that happens sometimes and people will scramble. Like I know it's happened to Duggan and then he scrambled and pulled like another guy in. Like
Sure.
he did what he could, right? Because sometimes shit happens. But yeah, this guy I
Not
don't think
Hacksaw Jim Duggan, but we're not going to say anything else.
no, it wasn't Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
No, a
but-
different Duggan, but that's all we're going to say about that.
Yeah. Well, it's not his fault, right?
No.
But we're talking about change here.
Yeah.
All the people that are left after we
Um,
just ranted about random
Rich, famous,
shit.
and Revenant car. Okay, so back then, I know what my mindset was
Yeah.
when I was going through that. Like the neat car was like, okay, and it's ironically the car I own now is the dream car I had back then. It was okay, which is cool. Tell me thing you don't manifest. It's like one of the only ones in Canada.
But why
Tell me I
rich?
didn't manifest that.
Why did
Rich-
you want to be rich?
I'll tell you this. It's rich has to do with it's not decadence. I don't want to be like Eddie Murphy in Coming to America where he has royal bathers and all that kind of stuff. That's not what it is. It's not decadence. It's freedom. It's time freedom.
Yeah.
It's being able to do whatever you want whenever you
Yeah.
want. That's in my mind. That's what rich is. It's not
like it.
necessarily a dollar figure,
Right.
but at the same time, if I
Freedom.
want to go buy that Land Rover, I'm going to go buy the Land Rover. Like that's kind of the, to me, what rich in the grade 10 Mike's mind was when I said rich, famous. Famous, definitely because I'm a peacock. I know I'm a
Right.
peacock. I like to spread my shit. And
you went through that training too, eh?
yeah, I went through that training.
I was
took-
a peacock for sure.
I took that cost.
Isn't that amiable?
That cost, it was
Ami-
great. It
amiable?
was just after math.
The quadrants.
I think so. Yeah,
I'm a
yeah.
peacock as well.
Yeah, I'm a total peacock. And not that I don't have to, and now that I've kind of explored it in my adult life, it's come to a place of I also it balances out with the fact that I'm also and I'm about to say humble at the end of this to make a joke out of this. I'm also extremely generous. I love to teach. I love to empower people and get them going to the next level. Like I love doing that shit so much. When I'm speaking to a crowd of like a couple thousand, I love to take the energy that comes in off that crowd and then kind of give it back to them. I'm also very humble. See, there's the joke. Right
I'm
there.
the most humble. Actually.
You're the most humble.
like out of anyone. Like I'm the
Right.
most. There's no one more. I'm actually so humble that it's probably my best quality. Like if I
think-
had
yeah,
to pick one,
I think
like
you're right.
gun to my head, you
Yep,
have to pick
yeah.
one best
How
quality.
humble you are.
My humbleness would. I'm probably just too.
It's not that you're so
humble.
cute, even though you are so cute.
Yeah, I think sometimes.
You're so cute, right? You're like adorable.
yeah,
But
yeah.
humble, I think, edges
Above
that out.
all,
Well,
like,
yeah, you're also really
it's hard,
athletic. You're
though.
super athletic.
like gun to my head.
yeah, you're so
like the most
popular. People
humble.
love you.
Yeah,
But I think your humble,
Totally.
your humbleness goes above all of that.
like if I had to pick one,
All
like
those things.
I'm probably too humble. Like
Right.
I don't give myself enough credit.
No, you
That's
don't.
probably the issue.
You don't give yourself enough credit. You're just too humble for that.
That's one of my favorite bits. I do that.
I
all
love
the
that
time.
bit. Yeah, look what we just did there. But to me, famous at that point there was on a larger platform. Like
Yeah.
I have a meditation journal that I write in every day.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I'm writing right now, the daily thing is I'm a kind, generous, thoughtful, powerful man who inspires millions and is worth millions. I am worthy. I am enough. And the inspires millions is intentionally in front of more than worth millions.
But
Because
what
I
did-
want to
what did
inspire
Renee say to you?
millions.
What did Renee say to you?
She said, be very careful that you don't take your worth. This is a preview for a Kelowna Now podcast coming out with Renee
How
Merrifield
amazing
Wasilic.
was she? She's one of those people you talk to her,
Big
and
mind,
it
man.
started just resonating more and more. Like
Oh,
like
yeah.
every day after we talked to her,
Me too.
It
Me
was like,
too.
fuck, that was a good
Renee is
conversation.
amazing, and I'm so blessed to have her in our lives.
She
Like,
said, "Don't put a dollar amount
Nope.
on your worth.
Nope.
Like, I'm worth millions. No, you're just worth.
Right.
You're worth love. You're worth feelings. You're worth being. You're worth
and I am
having
all those
people
things.
around you." And it was just such a good point. So I love that you. So you're talking about, and I'm glad you clarified, right?
Yeah.
You want to be rich because of freedom. You want to be able
Yes.
to do what you want and not
Yep.
have to be a slave to the 9 to 5. And I love that. And this is probably something that's changed for me because I was so anti-money
Yes.
when I was a kid, because it was like, oh, it's the, and this is what I'm saying, I got sucked into conspiracies.
Yeah.
And a lot of these are right? Like a lot of these conspiracies have real
They all have roots of truth.
roots of truth and real issues that are brought up because of them, like the bankers are controlling the world. Well, the bankers are fucking controlling the world.
Right. But it's
However,
not Sid who works for Bank of Montreal.
yeah.
It's just Sid.
And
He
it's,
approved you for your line of credit to
Right.
pay off your car. Wasn't that
and
great?
when I'm saying,
Sid's a great
oh,
guy.
I don't like the fact that we have all like these so many rich people, whatever. I don't. My issue, I think, and again, every podcast, Peter Joseph is one of these people that, as more content of his I bring in, I start to realize why that inequality bothers me. And I think it bothers me more because it's this culture of, like you were saying, decadence, right? If we all wanted to be successful and rich so that at the end of the day we could take more vacations and spend more time with our family and have more time and freedom to ourselves, then using, oh, I want to be rich as
Yep.
like an end goal, I'm fine with that. But it's when we get to a culture of, no, we need to be rich so that we have things, so we can flaunt things.
Yep.
And when you flaunt things, it creates cultural violence because it creates social exclusion, right?
Yeah.
And this is where relative poverty is a lot different than actual poverty.
Yeah.
Is we get to a point where you have to have the new iPhone, you have to
Yeah.
have the new car,
It's
you
that
have to have,
It's that fear of missing out a little bit.
yeah, and it
little bit
will,
of
and
that,
it causes
yeah.
depression and anxiety, and it causes all these things. And then unknowing to ourselves, because we grew up in this culture, when
Right.
we get to a point where we can flaunt these things, we flaunt diamond rings and fur coats and $3,000 purses, and we don't understand the culture we're breeding.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, for me, where I've really honed in to the nuances of why inequality bothers me so
Right.
much, right?
And my whole thing on that is be the example of how you can achieve whatever you want to achieve, and then show others that they can do the same thing. Empower others that they can do the same thing. Like, I love, in my sense, and I'm not anywhere near where I want to be. Like I mean, I hang out in a lot of the people I kind of roll with, and I'm the lighter end of the spectrum when it comes to the monetary status in life.
Right.
Okay. So I'll just say that. But that being said, I've also had a degree of, I'm nowhere near where I came from. Like, I didn't come from money in any
Right.
way, shape, or form. I came from a blue collar family where up until I was like grade 10, my dad worked 60 hours a week, so my mom didn't have to.
Yeah.
You know, and amazing, so glad. But I also recognize that, no, I want to take some stuff to enjoy some stuff that's in this world.
Yeah.
And there are ways to do that for anybody. It's just unlocking the barricades that keep us in that social structure in our own minds. It's unlocking those and starting to think bigger and actually walking out and going and achieving
Mm.
things. And I love to show people that. At the same time, if I want to drive what I want to drive, or I want to wear what I want to wear, or whatever,
Yeah.
I'm going to go and do that, not to make people feel bad who wish that they were wearing those things or driving those things, but more so because I enjoy it. And then to say to them, no, you can too.
But
All of us can.
I-
It's just a matter of creating that plan and creating that that mindset more than anything.
Yeah.
The habits and the mindset to lead you to those goals. But most people don't even know what their goals are. But then they see that Louis Vuitton or whatever,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh,
yeah.
I wish I had one of those." Well, no,
Yeah.
is that one of your goals? Like,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
let's make that one of your goals. You will
Thank
get
you.
that. Like,
Thank you
you
for
will
saying
get
that.
it for sure. Like, we can make that happen. You know,
Deanna,
Do you?
100%.
it's yeah.
Um,
And
no,
who knows what she was talking about? She
I'm-
was probably talking about when we're talking about how cute you are. She might have said that.
I'm glad you
I think that's
worded
probably
it
the
like
case.
that. However, or I'm agreeing with you, and I'm
Yeah.
glad you worded it that way, because just when you get to a point where, hey, I'm gonna enjoy stuff, like why do you want that stuff? Do you want it just because it's culture, because it's
Exactly.
like pushed on you, and because you don't know what else to do with your money? There's a really good documentary called I Am, and it's, you've seen that?
No,
I Am?
but I know what you're talking
It's-
about.
It's the director from Ace Ventura and a bunch of like Jim Carrey
Yes,
movies.
yes,
And
yes,
he
yes,
talks
yes.
about when that was what he was told, like, oh, well, you need to be rich and buy a big house and blah, 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 right? And so he gets to the point where he
She's
creates
saying
Ace
that it's not because you
Ventura.
were cute, it's because of the manifesting. That's really sweet.
So he buys this house, and then he has everything he wants, and then he makes another movie and he makes another couple $100 million, and he
so what?
tells his dad, he goes, now what?
Yeah.
And his dad goes, buy a bigger house, and he just buys more and more stuff, and just because that's the culture and that's what we bred, and it led to depression, and it leads to all these things. So there's so much world of gray in here, and this is where I think it's important for us to evolve and for us to change and for us to hone in on our nuances of opinions of things, right? And want things because we've earned it and because they give meaning to our life, and they're not just filling some sort of void. I also think it's really important to as you grow up and as you evolve, to constantly redefine your definition of success. What does success mean to you? I have these moments every once in a while when I'm in my hammock staring at my big old tree in the back, and I go, I don't know what I'm running towards. Because this is awesome. This is all I need. This is all I've ever needed. This is all I've ever been. This is all Colin has ever cared about, is just having somewhere to live, being safe, not struggling. You know what I mean? Like I see all I am so hashtag unironically blessed to have everything that I have.
Hashtag non-ironic blessed.
But there's this part of me that constantly feels like I'm not enough, but what I have is not enough. And I don't know where it comes from. Well, I do know where it comes from, but it's unintentional, and we have to be aware of these things.
Can I say something about that though? Right there, like, oh, my girl is here, and Dee's talking to my girl. That's really sweet. Hey, pay attention, girls.
Carrie's also here.
We're spreading the love, and spreading the information.
Pay attention to us.
When you are in your hammock and you're looking up at that tree and you're looking up at that beautiful Okanagan blue sky, and you're looking at this house that you bought, and your girl in the two-piece on the balcony going, holy shit, as she goes and mows the lawn so you don't have to, like, holy cow, look what you have, look how blessed you are. As you're doing that though, you got to understand what you're also doing is you're creating pathways in your subconscious where you're going, holy cow, I have this. And you have this. Like, it's there. And as you're trying to figure out what's next, or what else am I aspiring to, or where else are we going, you're also creating pathways to go, holy cow, this is my standard now. And you could actually get it back. Like, if something happened, God forbid, something horrible happened, you could actually get back to that standard, because the pathways you've created in your subconscious are used to those standards. Even though you as a kid going, holy cow, is this ever going to happen for me? What's my normal going to be? Your normal right now is like what that kid thought, holy cow, this is what I could aspire to. Which is crazy. So now you have this level. It's like somebody who's gone out and self-made themselves $1 million. Hardest million you'll ever make. After that, you can go and you can do it again and again and again and again, because you've created the pathways to do that and you know how to do it. It's teaching people that first time to get to that next level, whatever that level is. And where that starts is people actually having to recognize what it is that they want, what their goal is, and why they want it.
I think that's a big thing.
Recognition of the why is as important as recognition of the what. What brings it to something, but then you got to go into the why. And when you go into the why, that's how manifestation can begin. And you can move in that direction towards it. Like, like I've been a comic book nerd since I was a kid. Like, when I was a kid, I had this I still have it, pretty decent comic book collection. To the point where CHBC, they had this show called Rattlebag. They came to my house. They photographed all of my comic books, did a little profile on me. Got a little bit wrong in the execution of it, but whatever. Right? I was featured on this thing. And
that's pretty cool.
To me, it was. I was a comic book kid, and that was the whole thing. It was like, I didn't give a fuck what anybody else thought. I thought it was cool because I was in the comic book community, and it was cool because other nerds would like, because I was a nerd, and other nerds would like, oh yeah, but you didn't show this and you didn't show that in your collection. I'm like, who cares, right? Like it was so cool to me back then. Now I'm 43 years old, and the universe has given me an opportunity to write a comic book, and that's happening even outside of my financial career and all this other stuff that we got going on. And it's like, okay, recognizing the why of why I love something creates opportunities even later on in life, and they just come back to you full circle. But if you don't recognize and then develop that why, many times you'll feel like you're spinning your wheels, like that director that you were talking about. Remember the movie The Italian Job?
Yes.
Ed Norton in The Italian Job. They're all stealing all this gold, and then suddenly Ed Norton screws over his buddies and takes off. What did he buy with all that gold that he got? He bought the house that Don Cheadle? I think it was Don Cheadle or one of them. He bought the house that guy wanted. He bought the stereo that Seth Green wanted. He bought the car that Jason Statham wanted. He didn't know what he wanted. And that is such an empty place to be. That's why money does not bring fulfillment. Money's awesome. It's an awesome tool. But it does not bring fulfillment. I know a lot of unhappy, wealthy people.
Well, we know that statistically that after $100,000, it doesn't actually change people's happiness all that much. Like once all your needs
Yeah.
are met and you can like, we know that. Right. But
Yeah.
I think
I also know a lot of fulfilled wealthy people though, because they continue to dig deep as to what actually fulfills their heart and soul, and then move towards
but
that
they
even
could
more.
be just as fulfilled and happy at $100,000. Like this
Probably.
is, we're talking like
Probably.
monetarily
Yep.
up until $100,000, like more money can bring more relief, right? Which can lower depression, lower anxiety. But after $100,000, it doesn't necessarily the money itself improve anything. And
Yes.
that's kind of the point.
Correct.
No, but I love everything you said. You worded it beautifully. For me, evolving and changing my opinion of what success is has made it so that I can get to a point where, yes, obviously I'm going to work hard and try to get. Lisa Marie has joined us right at the tail end.
There's our girl.
But although, yes, I'm going to strive to, get promotions and do more within my job and blah, 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 blah,
But
blah.
you also know why.
I know why, but having that baseline that you're talking about gives me the opportunity to go, okay, I have what I need. I'm happy with bringing, like, I don't need to hustle anymore just for money. It allows me to pursue my passions and hobbies of things like doing a World of Grey podcast that has 6 people watching that brings in 0 revenue
exactly
that I'm doing on my one day off, but I'm doing it because I love it and I don't have to do it for the money.
Yes.
Would it be great if this guy right here could help us find a way to bring revenue in? Sure. That's great. If we can do that, and but that's not the starting point.
Nope.
The starting point is my passion and love for conversation.
It's the process.
It's the process. It's the creative process. It's wanting to have conversations that aren't just comments to comments of outrage, right?
Yes.
I want to have real conversations with people.
Yes.
I don't care if this takes 20 years for us to build an audience to actually make some sort of minute change within our community, right?
Correct. The satisfaction that we get along the way has already, even up to this point where we're at right now, and we're still just kind of testing things and figuring out all the nuances of it. The fulfillment that has already come from this for us is immeasurable. And I would even say you cannot buy that with money. You cannot buy that fulfillment that we have gotten just from this process
100%.
of putting in our 10,000 hours of honing in on what it is that we're going to do. The monetization piece, when it comes in, it's going to be like, holy cow, you guys made this much money for doing this. Well, all you did was talk. No, not all we did was talk. All we did was, for a long time, prepare our heart, our mind, our experience level, production, obviously. Which production, by the way, I think we're just going to hire somebody. I think we just have both decided that, as we were going through this, the production side of things, we need a young Jamie. We need someone to, and Andrew has said that he'll do that for us. But
we definitely need a young Jamie.
We need somebody who's like tech savvy that can just go click, 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 click. Okay, now talk, monkeys, and then we just start talking. But going through this process has gotten us to that point. Because some people, they go through that process like Ozzy. Ozzy would, our kid, he would photograph and video these amazing cars coming into the shop that he worked at, these amazing Japanese cars and whatnot as they went on the dyno. And then he realized that he loved videography and he opened up a videography business.
Nice.
You and I doing this process could have realized, holy cow, maybe I'm a little bit of a tech nerd, and we could have gone down this path of, but we didn't do that. No. So we're going to hire that out. What we love to do is we love to talk. We love to ask questions. We love to have discourse with people. And that is where we're honing in on what our why really is, because we're learning what we really are.
And I just feel like we think that's important, right? We feel like this is something we need to do because there is so much division. And I mean, like our cheesy tagline says, we're in a society divided, and that's exactly what it is. And we want.
I totally thought you were going to an outro there. I'm like, oh my god, the outro comes out of nowhere. It's like a diamond cutter finish from Diamond Dallas Page. It comes from nowhere, and then suddenly the match is over. I thought you were totally ending the podcast. I'm like, I'm
gonna start teasing it. No, what I would like to do,
Gray.
I want to send a challenge out to anyone listening. I've noticed that when we do different topics or every podcast, we tend to accidentally copy each other with one themed word. Today,
what is it today?
So what I want people to do is, as you watch us, I want maybe halfway through or near the end, I want you to just pop up what you think the theme of the day is today. Today it's nuance, definitely. I realized I said nuance like 5 times.
Did
and
I say
you
nuance?
started saying nuance. Yeah.
Oh, I'm such a copycat.
That's all right.
It's because I look up to you.
It's mirror neurons, actually.
Mirror neurons?
It's what empathy is based off of. So mirror neurons are neurons that fire like real neurons, and so they give you the same emotional response as if you were experiencing
Okay.
it. So we're just feeding off each other. It's why sometimes when you're talking to someone and you're like, yeah, and you do that, and then they're talking, all of a sudden they do the exact same thing.
Is it like when I watch the Avengers and Tony Stark dies and I start crying because it's like not really is that
Something like that.
it's something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I feel like it's really important
And then
for
other people start
everyone.
crying because they see me crying.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Not quite how that happened.
I'm such a leader.
I just think we've talked a lot about just changing and evolving as we grow. I also think it's important not to bring in information and solidify opinions based off other people's opinions, like right off the bat. You know what I'm saying? And we're all susceptible to this. And there's a lot of new shows on YouTube now, but taking that information, look at it, analyze it, form your own opinion, because it's really easy for us to just lean one way, lean the other way, because
Yeah.
we really do live in a society
There is.
divided by black and white arguments. And myself and Mike Chisholm are here to explore
The
the
world of gray.
I am Clonus Cougar Meat Kid Colin Cutler.
I am the flow. Mike Chisholm, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us.
Peace.
Peace. Love.
Is that what you wanted?